Can you kind of explain straight up, what is a virus?
All right. A virus is something that, like you said, most people don't think about it, right?
No.
You get flu now and then, you get a cold, but we have gotten rid of most of the nasty viruses of childhood. When I grew up, you'd get chicken pox, you'd get measles, sometimes you'd get polio.
Wow.
You don't get any of that anymore because of vaccines. So people stopped thinking about viruses. And now in the last 15, 20 years, all of a sudden there are these outbreaks of weird viruses, coronaviruses, Ebola viruses that spill over from animals. And it sort of gets people's attention for a bit and then it goes away. So what is a virus? A virus is an organism which is very small. You can't see it with your eye. And I think the most important property is that it needs to get inside of a cell to make more of itself. So it's just a piece of nucleic acid, which means DNA or sometimes RNA. So viruses are unusual that can have RNA instead of us, and everything else on the planet has DNA. They can have a piece of RNA or DNA. It's wrapped in a protein and sometimes a membrane, really small, and that's it. And it needs to get inside of a cell, and then it reprograms the cell to make more of itself. So it's a parasite, and we call them obligate intracellular parasites because they have to get inside of a cell in order to make more viruses, and then they take something from the cell. That's what a parasite is, right? There are human parasites too that take from other people, as you know. Viruses take from the cell, and sometimes they kill the cell actually in the process of making more of themselves. So that's really an unusual approach to being, if you will, on Earth. This idea that you get inside of another cell and you reproduce, and you may kill the cell, and then of course the virus needs to spread. It needs to find a new host. It will infect a bird, a human. Every living thing on the planet has whole collections of viruses in them. Everything you look at, if you see a plant or a dog or a bird, a fish, all of them have viruses of their own, and they may or may not make them sick. So viruses have been around probably longer than anything else on the planet. So they're really old. They've had a long time to sort things out.
Yeah.
And they're really good at it. So that's a long definition of what a virus is, but you can't see it. And in fact, Corey, you and I right now are full of viruses. They're reproducing in us. We're okay most of the time. We have as you know, everybody has a whole collection of bacteria in them, right? The microbiome that, in all of our organ systems, and we think they're good for us. I think we have the same thing with viruses. It just hasn't been as well studied. So they're all over at any given time, and they're tiny and need to get inside you in order to make more.